This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Mom and Pop Eateries. I'm your host, Rob Leonard, and the snow is gone. The temperatures are getting a little bit warmer out there, and that can only mean one thing: that summer's just around the corner. And through it this past year, we concentrate on those businesses that are around year-round, but we also have some incredible mom and pops that are seasonal, and I'm very pleased to have on the show today Tammy McFarlane and Rob Scappen. They are the owners of Tomboy Artisan Ice Cream in Paisley, Ontario. Folks, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Great to have you on. And Tammy, you and I had a great conversation on the phone the other night, and just getting set up for the show. And the story of Tomboy does not start in Paisley, Ontario. It actually starts in Australia. And are we going to let Rob take the lead on this one?
You want to take the lead, Rob?
It's a novel experience, yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess my major occupation in Australia was winemaking. I worked in the Barossa Valley in South Australia for many years, 7 or 8 years, I'm not sure now. And then I worked in Northeast Victoria, another wine growing area near the Alps in Australia. And then that was a great experience. And then I came to Canada to continue winemaking and worked in the Niagara Peninsula for about 9 years, including doing some work in British Columbia and Quebec. And where would you take that from here, Tammy?
So the whole wine industry kind of became this big commercialized industry as opposed to the cottage industry. And, we used to have those unique little wineries with boutique wine shops, and they were family owned and, much the same flavor as mom and pop. Unfortunately, when those large commercial wineries come in, they buy up all the little wineries and turn them into big wineries. And it was at that point in time that I was relocated to Australia, and we were amalgamating a lot of wineries, shutting them down, basically. And it was at that same time where that nasty stuff was happening that my mom passed away. My dad had a heart attack. He ended up having 2 knees replaced. Our youngest daughter was in a terrible car accident. And we said, okay, it's time to come back to Canada. So we came back to Canada, helped family out, and we had a big, hard, long think about, do we want to get back into the wine industry? And we said, no, I don't think we want to do that anymore. It's not what it was. So Rob always had this ice cream thing. His historical background, his family background is from Italy. And so he's got this little ice cream passion that was happening. And he went to the University of Guelph, and he took a course there that was called Ice Cream Science. And it was 114 years. It'd been around, one of the longest standing ice cream science courses in the world. Only took 50 or so students, a small number of students. Rob attended the course at the University of Guelph. Our youngest was actually at the university at the same time, and she didn't even know the course was there. So it's a very small kind of program. He finished the program, and we started to have a little play at home with the kitchen Cuisinart, and pretty soon the passion for wine became the passion for ice cream, and then we became Tomboy.
That's amazing. And, you made a point just back at the beginning of it there, and when you say about the amalgamation or the taking over and closing down of these small wineries, it really does take away from that personal impact that you get from a mom and pop operation. So, and that's exactly the same thing in the restaurant industry as well. You lose that personal touch. It becomes that corporate feel to it. And obviously it wasn't something that either of you really cared to do anymore. And you've turned, as you said, that passion towards Tomboy artisan ice cream. So I guess I could ask, does any of the wine make it into your ice cream?
Not yet. Well,
Or does it go well?
no, we do add wine and spirits. Not so much. Well, we do. We've used ice wine in a couple of our products, and we use, for example, one of our headline flavors is Cuban Magic, and that's got Cuban coffee, Cuban rum, and cocoa. Yes. So we do use alcohol. It's really, it's a very small amount. No one's ever going to get drunk from eating ice cream, nothing like that. But it does add complexity to the ice creams. And yeah, we really love it. You can, we've added rye in our blueberry ice cream. We've added rum, as I said. Slivovitz yes. For silver plum. Yes. So alcohol does get into our products in small quantities. Yeah.
So guaranteed we're not going to see a bunch of 5-year-olds stumbling down the street in Paisley, right? With an ice cream cone in their hand. Okay, all right, that's good.
If they ask for ice cream that's got, one of those components in there, I turn to the mum or the dad and say, is that okay? And it's up to them to decide.
That's right. Okay. All right. So, you decision to made to leave or to stay in Canada and not go back to Australia. That must have been tough not going back. But the reasons that you had to stay must have been so horribly painful on you as well. So much tragedy at that time. So, and you made the choice to stay here, which was, if you look, is probably the right choice to, taking care of family first and everything. So, and which is, I commend you both for that. So, let's talk about the beginnings of Tomboy Ice Cream. How did this all start? And I think you've started, you're in a new location this year, are you not?
That's right. So we were originally a block away, not even 2 blocks, maybe a couple of blocks, just in town, right across from Marty's, which is now the Paisley Common. So we were right across from them in a beautiful little shop that was the first bank of Paisley, and it was a jewelry store, and it had great character, and it was lovely, but it was very small, and we need quite a bit of air circulation for temperatures. You don't want it too hot when you're making ice cream. We make ice cream, not soup. So we're in a new shop now that we've purchased. We've got windows and doors, and it's a much better size facility for our purposes. And for COVID, we needed more space so that we could space people out and so that we can channel the traffic more appropriately. So this building does that for us.
That's fantastic. And I've heard, talking to Paisley Common and Bonfire Pizza, places that I've interviewed in the past have all said the same thing about Paisley. And you mentioned it, the history in the buildings, in those spaces that you've changed and turned into your own place. It's, just that story in itself, having that, 100-year or 100+ year history on the space that you're occupying is again, that's something that very interesting to your customers.
Oh, the whole Paisley character is perfect for Tomboy ice cream. I mean, Paisley is the town of, we say it's one of the grooviest villages around. We've got freedom to try things that, we wouldn't even give a go somewhere else. So we've got avocado wasabi is one of my favorites. And that was a big hit when we first started. And maybe in other communities, they might have poo-pooed that, but we've been really lucky with a customer base that's willing to give us a try. And of course, we have a number of other campaigns, sponsorships that we do, which are just a little bit different. And it's very welcomed in Paisley. And I'm sure you've heard that from the other businesses that you've spoke to. And Paisley's seen a big bump. I mean, we've got, is there any shops?
Just one to rent.
Well, one left. Yeah, we're definitely the place to be now.
It really is. I haven't been there in a couple of years. I did pass through there a few times, and I always love Paisley. It's where the two rivers meet. But just from what I'm hearing, like I said, I haven't been there in a couple of years, but it almost seems like it's becoming St. Jacobs North. It seems like there's a lot of artisans, a lot of those antique type shops, specialty shops that are moving into Paisley.
Oh, and we've got great events. We've got the Blues Festival that Rob's mentioned already. We have Arts on the River. We have a number of different festivals that embrace, this creative culture that we have, but as well, the landscape here, the history of the buildings. It's perfect in terms of small town living. The businesses, they cooperate well together. We work in a lot of collaborative marketing, for example, and we share all of our connections. So, if somebody's involved with a particular project or a group, then we try to involve everybody. So it becomes more of an event instead of just a one-off, and that way they get a chance to experience all of Paisley, not just, maybe Tomboy stop for an ice cream. No, how about we stop for an ice cream and then, we pop over to Alora's soap, or we drop into bonfires and have some. I mean, there's all these opportunities to try different things and have different experiences here.
What a great idea. That's so nice to hear everybody coming together. And as you said, instead of a one-off, it could, and it does become an outing and an event, which is really fantastic. Okay, let's talk about your product. Let's talk about the ice cream. All right.
Okay.
And it's
so
not
would you like
just
to have a look?
No. Sorry.
I just put my glasses on. I couldn't see.
Sorry, Rob.
Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, I thought you were reading something. Oh, okay. Anyway, let's talk about your product. Let's talk about the ice cream. Now, when you talk about ice cream, it isn't, and I don't mean this as any offense to the hard scoop ice creams or whatever, but yours, you call it an artisan ice cream for a reason. Let's talk about the process that goes into making Tomboy ice cream.
Do you want to walk over there?
Sure.
So, Rob, we've got our equipment set up. We're not quite ready to be open yet, but certainly we've got everything in place. So we're thinking if we can take you over to have a little boo in Rob's special place.
Oh, fantastic.
So this is where Rob basically makes all of our ice cream. So you can see we've got equipment here. So that's a gelato, an Italian gelato machine. Go ahead, Rob.
It's an Italian machine, but we make North American ice cream. We don't make gelato. And gelato, the difference between ice cream and gelato is gelato tends to have more milk, whereas ice cream has more cream, and it gives a lot richer sort of fatness to the flavour. But they're all just part of the same spectrum. And so we bring in Canadian milk and cream to us, and from there we make all our additions, our inclusions. And these two machines, there's a small machine up there we call Mary, and a big machine Clyde. And even though it's a big machine, we make small amounts of ice cream, Rob, as you know. But we work really hard to give a lot of flavours. I think we've, in the last 3 years or 2 years, this will be our third year, we've got more than 20 flavours in our recipe book. We can't have them all going at the same time. We just don't have the space. It's a simple process, but the science behind ice cream is just phenomenal. It's really incredible, really. But as a practitioner, you know, we're looking for freshness in our ice creams. We're careful in how we maintain the quality and the safety of our products. And so, yeah, we've got a lot of stainless steel. Like even in winemaking, we used to say that winemaking was 20% winemaking and 80% washing up, hosing down tanks and so on. And ice cream is a little bit like that. You spend 20% doing the stuff and then 80% of the time washing up and sanitizing and so on.
That is a huge part of the business, that's for sure, in any eatery establishment. But excuse me. All right, Tammy, you were talking about a very special thing that you do at Tomboy, and you have customer participation. And what a great idea. And there's one particular, I'll let you talk about the unicorn flavor. I'm not going to give the last part, but leave it as a surprise. But let's talk about what you allow your customers to do in creating their own flavors.
So we, as part of our kind of, you know, working together with the community, we have developed a couple of campaigns where people can enter draws. And we had, our first year was a happy place draw. The second year was a happy time. We had happy, well, this year it's going to be happy space, because our new space is called our happy space. And it's very more space, May the 4th theme, so to speak. So in one of our first years, we had a happy place contest. This wall, I'm not sure if you can see all these pictures. So each one of these pictures are examples of flavors that we've created. So you can see all these different images. So for instance, this lovely lady here with her new baby. Am I there yet? Almost there. There. This is Selena. She created a flavor called Aurora. She submitted her story about her challenging times, young mom during COVID, blah, 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 blah. Fantastic story. And we created this amazing flavor called Aurora, which is blueberries, basil, and ackee. Extraordinary. I can go through each one of these characters, and they are all wonderful characters, wonderful stories. This is the one that you're referring to, is this lovely little guy right here. Am I getting there? There he is.
Graham.
This is Graham. So Graham submitted his story all about his happy times, and it was about times with his sister and his mom and his grandma. And he came in, he won the prize, he won the draw, and he was creating his own flavor. And he said that he'd like to have an ice cream made with the berries that fits on your fingers. Of course, we had no idea what that was, but it turned out to be raspberry. So raspberries fit on your fingers. That was no problem. Did he have a little bit of chocolate in there too?
No.
Was it, no? And so Rob was fine creating these great recipes until the end of his discussion. He said, well, the last thing I'd like to have in my own flavor, though, is unicorn poo. As if, you know, it was something we had on the shelf or in the fridge. And, oh, you could have seen Rob's face. He was standing behind me, but the eyes were definitely rolling. And it was like, okay, so unicorn poo it is. So we ended up creating something that had raspberries, and it has those, and vanilla, yeah, and those tiny little marshmallows, the multicolored ones. When you mix those all up, they definitely look like unicorn poo. Graham brought his grandmother in. They did a final tasting. And Graham's grandmother approved, and she said, Graham, it's the best unicorn poo I've ever had. And let's just say, it sells. Kids like to say poo. I don't know what that's about. There's freedom in the poo. So we have a number of flavors that are all personality driven. And as Rob said, you know, we have over 20 of them. And we like to share those stories because that's the experience. When you come in, it's not just about having an ice cream. It's about the story behind the flavor. Now, unfortunately, due to COVID, we can't do tastings. There's just too much exposure, passing spoons back and forth. It doesn't work. So we can't do the tastings that we have done historically, but we do sell flights. So like a flight of wine or a flight of beer, We sell a package that carries 6 cups of ice cream for the price of 5, by the way. And they carry them home in a wine bag, and it makes a wonderful gift. It's a great hostess gift. It's something nice to contribute to an event. And that gives people an opportunity to try all the different flavors, or at least six of them in a go. And last year it did really well. And it seems to be a nice complement to the variety of sizes that we sell. So that's kind of how we're pulling the community together and trying to modify our tasting experiences by creating these flights. So I think you can see a little bit about, the size of our facility now. I know you can't quite grasp it when you see it this way.
That's a great looking shop. Yeah, it looks fantastic. So, well, you could even do a bumper stickers for people that say, I ate unicorn poo at Tomboy in Paisley.
Yes.
It becomes a badge of honor,
Exactly.
Okay, so that's a fantastic way to get your customers involved and allowing them that opportunity to create their own flavors, and it just adds another dimension to the shop, which is fantastic. So now another thing you touched on, the town of Wyerton last year and coming into this year, we're faced with what is called the Big Dig, and I think any community that's been through that understands that the entire main street of Wyerton has been shut down for quite a while. So add that on to COVID, and businesses are really struggling on the main street in Wyerton. Now, you mentioned to me in a conversation that there's a bit of a bridge issue, and Paisley may be going through the same pains that Wyerton did and continue to into this year.
Yes.
Next year.
Next year, they're talking about taking the bridge out. We need a new bridge. And unfortunately, that we're the town of rivers. So the town of rivers without a bridge presents a bit of a problem. So we're trying, actually, we've got a meeting coming up on May 18th, and we're hoping that we'll be able to put a temporary bridge in. That way we can avoid the nasty detour, which would be such a huge challenge for us. 2 years of COVID, then 1 year shutting down due to a bridge could be crippling. So we're hoping that they're going to create a temporary bridge, and we're further hoping that we can keep that temporary bridge and it will become a complement to the river, somewhere that, we could have more river experiences, or we could have
Events.
Events, or a promenade, or bike trail, or something that just enhances the river experience in Paisley. So fingers crossed, May the 18th, we've got a meeting. And if we have to do fundraising, we need to rally together and cause this to happen. Because year 3, so 2 years of COVID, year 3, and we get beat up without a bridge is going to be a real challenge for us.
Well, it seems, just from what I've heard about the town of Paisley and, whoever's in charge, whether it's not Reeves, I'm not sure how it works now, but they've been very supportive, and they very much seem, from what you folks are telling me and what the other places have told me, that they do listen to business. They listen to the business people of the community. And like you said, if I think it was $2 million for a replacement bridge, or a temporary bridge. But, with great ideas like you've got, and you discussed it a little further with me on the phone the other night to, as you say, turn it into a meeting place, turn it into something that, maybe you could incorporate with the Blues Festival, or, so many different things could be done with that bridge. But then it also keeps a vibrant and healthy downtown Paisley. And I'm sure, again, you told me about, you said earlier about how all the businesses pull together and support each other. And I'm sure you'd have no problem at all getting everybody together to battle as one force to get that temporary bridge in. And I certainly hope you do. So now we've got about 4 minutes left, and you have something called Sweet in Motion. And when I saw Sweet in Motion, I got it immediately. I'm an Aerosmith fan. I understand that completely. And
Rob, I'm sorry.
you're going to take us outside. You're going to take us outside and show us Sweet in motion. All right.
Yeah, we can go out the front door. Yeah.
I didn't warn the producer, Mark Perry, about this, so I didn't tell him this was happening. So sorry, Mark, I apologize
I hope
for
you
that.
can hear. Can you still hear us okay?
Yeah, I can still hear you fine. Yeah.
So
Now,
without using that word pivot, because as I said to you, we're over it, but we're now at the point where we had to kind of modify our business. So now we have Sweet in motion.
look at that. That's fantastic.
So this is our sister Tomboy, and this really tells the story. So that's Tomboy. There, that person is, and we always say she or he, doesn't make any difference. And here's all the groovy images. This is the back.
Now, you said that this was all hand painted, Tammy.
This is all hand painted. And Poshan, our local artist, did all this. There we go. And that's
Okay,
Soggy, by the way. That's our river monster. You can see she's hungry.
That's let's go back to that one just for a second, if we could. The monster there. That's got a little bit of a Rolling Stones feel to it, right there.
Yeah, it's the
It's
lips and the tongue.
I'm aging. I'm dating myself
You
here.
did
I
again.
get it. But what a fantastic idea! And that again is to get you out to special events. You can bring your product out to
Yes.
just about anywhere. So
Right?
you know, and again, that way you're getting to your customer, and that's a great way to promote your product. And let's get a look at the outside. We just got a couple of minutes left here, Tammy. So
We can
take a little
close
look
up
at the inside of your building, and it's just I love the colors. It's so it screams ice cream.
We're not quite done. We're getting to the short strokes, but I think that by May the 4th, that's what we're saying anyway. May the 4th be with us.
May the 4th, you're going to have a Star Wars special flavor for that, aren't you? All right, yes, and I forgot to mention your grand reopening is on May the 4th. And as you said, May the 4th be with you. And I'm so glad that you folks joined me today. Rob and Tammy from Tomboy Ice Cream in Paisley. I wish you all the best in this year coming up, and I'm sure I'll see you on the Mom and Pop Eateries Facebook page. Take care and all the best.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rob.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks, and as I said, that was Tammy and Rob from Tomboy Ice Cream. Artisan Ice Cream in Paisley. I'm your host, Rob Leonard, for producer Mark Perry. That's going to do it for this week. We'll see you next week on Mom and Pop Eateries of Grey Bruce.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
I come to take the boy.
Mama!
I was in the Marine Corps.